Welcome everyone to another edition of Randomness of Wrestling. This week I want to talk about just two things, the recent releases and TNA. Let's get right to it. The first thing I want to get to are the releases. Everyone knows that Kenny Dykstra, Lena Yada, Elijah Burke, Chuck Palumbo, and Paul London were all recently released by WWE. And each of them were released for specific reasons. First off, Lena Yada, I've never heard of this person, so I don't really care if this person was released or not. Other people might know who this person is and may be upset about it, but I really don't care. Another person I really don't care about is Chuck Palumbo. The guy never entertained me, and his best work was when he was with Billy in the gay duo gimmick. And you know that whole saying about the best gimmicks coming from the actual personality, but with the volume turned up? Interesting. This next person actually did entertain me. Paul London is a great talent, and there's an obvious storyline going on, actually two of them, that just screams his name. Unfortunately, since Paul London had a brief smile when WWE was doing that whole limo gimmick with Vince McMahon dying, and we know how that storyline just failed because of that smile, that they decided to punish him for it, right? Bullshit. They decided to punish him because he's hard to work with, he probably has good ideas, and they don't want his good ideas, they want people who actually wrote soap operas, they want them to write the ideas. Paul London is a wrestler, he's a performer, he's an entertainer, he knows how to work the crowd, and I think WWE just shit all over him. Another person who was released that really entertained me was Kenny Dykstra. He was released for two reasons. His attitude, which I can actually understand. I mean, having a young guy show up and start demanding things, that's not really showing respect, and that's not the best way to promote someone. And, I can understand that. But the other reason is Michael Hayes. And he released he didn't see anything in Dykstra, so he didn't write him into any storylines, and actually had him humiliated on TV because he just didn't like Dykstra. That's not good. If you have a writer who has, bias towards one performer because he doesn't like him or he does like him, that just proves that Hayes has no mind for today's current product. He's thinking of the past, he's thinking of when he was a active performer. He's not thinking about today's product, and I think that's a bad move. Last but probably not least is Elijah Burke. Once labeled as WWE's next big star, he was suddenly stopped when Brian Gewirtz, something like that, the writer for RoW, decided that he didn't want the guy. Once again, this proves that not one guy should not be allowed to make all the storylines. Burke's a great talent, he's a great entertainer, he's a great wrestler, and he's much, much better than Mike Knox, who will eventually flop. The next thing I want to get to is TNA. Now, I decided to give the November 13th, 2008 show another chance. I decided to give it another try, and I take back what I said last week. It's clear that they're trying to give out a better product, and the recent show that I just watched actually entertained me for the most part of the 2 hours with entertaining matches and decent promos. I'm proud of them, and you know what? I'm going to tune in next week too. I'm going to watch again. The TNA knockouts are a hell of a lot better than WWE Divas, except Victoria. She will always be my goddess of joy for all times. No one in TNA can outmatch her, in my opinion. I'm actually liking this whole main event mafia thing, the whole NWO-ish group conflicting with a common goal, less established guys. I'm liking this feud a lot, and I love how it shows that just because a group of people have a common goal, like the TNA originals, even though they have a common goal, they're not always capable of working together. And that's true for every group out there in the world. Some groups work together pretty well, but others may not. And this actually shows that. Just because you have a bunch of people with a common goal does not mean that they will automatically be in sync with each other. Another person I want to talk about is Eric Young. I'm going to give him major props for actually dropping that whole stupid, dumb as fuck superhero gimmick, because he's actually pretty entertaining when he's only being himself, and I like that. And I can see why he's so talented. I can see his real talent, and when he's not a comedy wrestler or a comedy entertainer, whatever you want to call him, he's actually a pretty good person to watch, and I look forward to watching him again next week. There is one bad taste that I had with the current show. The whole referee thing. Now, at first I thought he was the smartest referee in the world for catching on to the low blow, but I think this whole angle would be bad on an epic scale. Not only did it make Sheik look like shit, but it also is a cheap imitation of Festus, which is pretty bland to begin with. On a fair note, if a transmission of referee to wrestler is made, I respect the angle a little more, and, I'll take back what I said. But if he's just going to be a referee who snaps whenever he's pushed, that's just not going to work. It's going to flop, and it sucks. Well, that's it for this week's RoW, and I want to go out on a good catchphrase this time, and I'm going to quote James Storm on this. Sorry about your damn luck. That was terrible. Alright, I'll go out with my usual fuck Batista. Fuck him. Oh, before I forget, well, I actually already forgot, but anyway, check out theeaglesring.weebly.com, check out my MySpace page at myspace.com/JesseRendon, and email me at RoWJJL@yahoo.com if you wish to debate, praise, or hate me for my opinions. I welcome all people who want to debate with me. Have a good one.